Last year, the Mountain West's Mountain Division came down to Boise State and Utah State. And on the blue turf, it was the Broncos rolling over the Aggies, racking up nearly 500 total yards, leaving Utah State with a full respect for their conference rival.
The road to the Mountain West Championship to me goes through Boise until somebody knocks them off the throne.
Now the scene shifts to Logan, with both teams undefeated in conference. Knowing tonight could decide who will play in the Mountain West title game.
It's going to be fun. I'm excited for the game. I know it's going to be a good one.
Everybody will be kind of gunning for them, but I think there's definitely some revenge.
I expect a dogfight out of them. They're really a hard-working team, and they do really great every year.
Utah State, Boise State. Who climbs to the top of the mountain? From the Cache Valley, this is college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico. A critical matchup in the Mountain West Conference Mountain Division. Number 21, Boise State, the only loss out of conference against BYU, against the Utah State Aggies. Those two losses on the road against Pac-12 opponents. So Boise State, Utah State, and Air Force, all 2-0 right now in the Mountain West Mountain Division. With Aaron Taylor, Ginny Dell, I'm Carter Blackburn. Well, fortunately for the Broncos, we like to talk about big bowl games and rankings and all those things around Boise State football. But this is a big game for both of these programs.
It is a big game, and I get the feeling that this Utah State team is ready to play. I think they really remember that beatdown they got in Boise a year ago. They know what's on the line. The winner of tonight's game is going to be in the driver's seat in the Mountain Division.
The big question for Boise State, Jeremy McNichols, a game-time decision after a goal line collision last week against Colorado State. How big is that?
It's huge. He leads the nation in total touchdowns, 12 on the ground, 2 through the air. So if he can't go tonight, the rest of the team is going to have to step up, particularly true freshman quarterback Brett Rippon. The kid's only a true freshman, but he does a nice job of scanning the field, got a high football IQ, and hey, when you have this much time to throw the football, you're going to be able to drop some dimes like he does right in between coverage on the money. But that's not all he does. He's extremely accurate. He's got good mechanics just for a true freshman, but he puts the ball in the back of the end zone on the money just like you're supposed to.
Well, he's been solid as the Plan B quarterback for Boise State. For the Aggies, it's been Kent Myers who has taken over as their Plan B, solid as well.
He stepped up. He's 7-1 as a starter. This kid is a playmaker. A couple weeks ago against Colorado State, he did it with his legs. Colorado State brought a lot of pressure, so it was up to Young to be able to move around and get things going. Boise State will try and attack him the same way tonight, but that's not all. He needs the other playmakers to step up. Guys like Wyatt Houston and wide receiver Devontae Robinson have to bring their A games as well.
Some more of those supporting players who need to make a big difference are Geico difference makers, the running backs. Last week they ran all over Fresno State. Devontae Mays, 93 yards, 3 touchdowns. Lawan Hunt, 2 rushing touchdowns at Fresno State. And for more on the Aggies, head coach Matt Wells with our Ginny Dell.
Coach, a lot has been made of how well you manage this quarterback position, but you told us yesterday that it's because of your defense that you've been able to do that. What do you need to see from your defense here tonight?
Well, they're going to, first of all, have to stop the runs. First thing we talk about each and every week is stopping the run and being able to control the pass.
Clearly a win tonight will put you in the driver's seat in the Mountain Division, but beyond that, what would the victory mean to your program?
It's just it's a game from a programmatic standpoint. Where are we? Where do we want to go? This is another step in that process.
Good luck, Coach.
Okay,
Thank you.
A lot of respect between the two head coaches, Matt Wells and Brian Harsin. They kind of came up the ranks together. Both played quarterback at their alma mater, and then offensive coordinators and now head coaches both at their alma maters. Brian Harsin in his second season as head coach of the Boise State Broncos. A beautiful night in Logan, Utah. Sun just went down at 69 degrees and a sellout crowd here at Merlin Olsen Field, Maverick Stadium in Logan, Utah. Utah State will receive the opening kickoff. Tyler Rasa Boots it through the back of the end zone for a touchback. So Utah State will get it at the 25. Our Chick-fil-A starting lineups begin for the Utah State Aggies with the sophomore quarterback from Rowlett, Texas, Kent Myers. Last week versus Fresno State, 260 yards, a touchdown. 2 weeks ago, you saw the rushing yards. 7-1 as an Aggie starting quarterback over the last 2 years. His offensive coordinator, Josh Heupel, says he is as confident a guy as he has been around, and he's been around a lot of confident guys.
Yes, he has. He's going to need that confidence tonight against a top 10 defense in the Broncos.
Lawan Hunt in the backfield next to Myers. Play fake on first down. Myers, deep shot, first play, looking for Sharp, just overthrows him. Locked in man coverage with Dante Dion. We look at the rest of Josh Heupel's offense.
Well, Utah State offense will be tested tonight by one of the country's better defenses, so it's going to need its playmakers like wide receiver Hunter Sharp, who was just targeted there, to show up and be a major factor in this game tonight.
Sharp was a guy who was recruited by the Broncos, said he probably would have gone to Boise State but didn't qualify academically, so junior college, and now he's a Utah State Aggie. Myers pulls it on second down to make it third down and long. A look at the Bronco D.
One of this team's leaders is senior safety Darian Thompson, and his physical tackling and reliable playmaking ability are a big reason why the Broncos have this top 10 defense. They are particularly good on third down getting after the passer. This is going to be a very important down for the rest of the night.
Thompson and the rest of the Broncos bearing down for 3rd and 7. Myers over the middle, batted away, incomplete, and it's a 3-and-out for the Aggies on their first crack at the Boise State D.
Boise State is explosive offensively, so that's not the start that Utah State wanted a week ago. They had a 4-and-out. They got a first down on the first play of the game and then went 3-and-out. You do not want to be able to punt this ball to this Boise State offense. You have to be able to control it, but a great start for the Broncos on that side of the ball.
Do everything Shane Williams-Rhodes back to receive the punt from Aaron Dalton. Williams-Rhodes backs up inside the 30. With a seam on the right side, Shane Williams-Rhodes sprinting across midfield. Williams-Rhodes takes it inside the Aggie 35, and it's another hot start for Boise State. 38-yard return.
Field position is such an important factor of football games, Carter. Your chances to score a touchdown increase by 11-fold if you receive the ball on the plus side of the 50. Put another way, Boise State, whatever their chances were before, are 11 times as likely to score a touchdown because of that last return.
1st and 10, Boise State. Jeremy McNichols is not in the backfield. Kelsey Young starts at running back. Rippon gives it to him. There's a flag down on the first down carry, but that is big for Boise State as McNichols for now not on the field. The game time decision.
Offside. Defense, number 22. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It's our referee, Reggie Smith. Our Chick-fil-A starting lineups for the Broncos, led by the quarterback, Brett Rippon. Twice threw for 8 touchdowns in a game in high school in Spokane, Washington. Only he and Kellen Moore have done that in Washington high school history. Rippon checks down on 1st and 5. Kelsey Young slips and falls. McNichols comes out in street clothes now on the first series for Boise State.
That's huge for them. Him not being able to go means the rest of those players are going to have to step up, including Kelsey Young. The most touches Young has had in a game this year was in week 1 against Washington with 13 touches. He's going to need to be productive tonight against a very stout and attacking Aggie defense.
On 2nd down, Rippon throws the bubble to the outside. Shane Williams-Rhodes across the 30, and we look at the Chick-fil-A starting lineup for the Broncos offense.
Well, with McNichols out, tonight's workload is going to fall largely on the shoulders of Kelsey Young, so Young must be productive to keep Boise State balanced and in manageable 3rd down situations.
Left tackle Reese Adiambo heads to the sideline. So Archie Lewis, the sophomore, backup in there for 3rd down and 5.
Expect some pressure off this outside edge.
Here comes the pressure. Rippon. Downfield incomplete. Into double coverage intended for Thomas Spurbeck, the deep threat. Marwin Evans there in coverage.
Great response that time by Utah State after the big return and their offense going 3 and out. They hold, and that was because of the pressure. This defense likes to change the picture on the offensive line, move and stem at the last minute, and that forced the errant throw on 3rd down and brings up the field goal. Great stop by the Aggies.
46-yard attempt from Rasa. Missed a 55-yarder last week at Colorado State. But this 46-yard kick is easily good. Boise State off the big return from Shane Williams-Rhodes. 3 on the board. Parson happy.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by new DQ Bakes. Artisan-style sandwiches, only at your DQ.
Packed student section, packed house tonight here at Maverick Stadium, which is under major renovations. 3-0 lead for Boise State on Utah State here after the field goal from Tyler Rasa. He will kick it away. You see those major construction effort on the, let's see, west side?
That looks to be west, yes.
Yep. That's where the sun went down, so I'm going to go with west. More on that from Vinny Del later. Not the sundown, but the construction.
Clearly Carter was a Boy Scout.
Rosso will kick north to south, and he muffs it. So a little squibber that's going to be down at the 20. Down at the 30, actually. Picked up by one of the upmen for Utah State. After Ross slipped. So we look at our E-Trade game plan tonight's key questions, beginning with, can Utah State run the ball on the Broncos?
It's going to be very important for them to stay balanced and attack this defense, so they have to be able to run the football against a Boise State defense that doesn't like that. Can the Aggies rattle Rippon? They did on that last 3rd down play. And what's the McWeapon factor? Is it going to be a happy meal, or will they grimace?
Ooh. Jeremy McNichols, yeah, they nicknamed him McWeapon. Now that's more along the lines of a grimace, right? Because he's in street clothes.
Yes, yes. They got good backs. They need to step up.
Myers' screen blown up immediately on the outside by Darian Thompson.
We talked about him in the opening lineups. He is a physical playmaker with tremendous instincts. You're just going to see him. He reads this and fights through the pressure and the block on that outside. As the furthest most guy outside, it's Thompson's job to get upfield, force everything back inside. He is a factor early in this game already.
4 interceptions this year, 18 in his career. He's the active leader in the FBS for career interceptions. Myers gives it on 2nd and 15. It's Hunter Sharp on the carry and nothing doing there.
And here's the problem. On the last 2 1st down opportunities of Utah State, they decided to throw the football. That then puts them behind the chains, which really limits your play call sheet. And here they come up with a 3rd and long situation. I think the Aggies, if they can pick up this 1st down, need to get that ground game going.
3 and out the first time they had it, and now 3rd and very long against the excellent Bronco defense. Out of the backfield, Hunt slipping his way across the 35. He has a 1st down across the 50. Hunt shoved down near the Bronco 25. 53 yards. Kamale Correa finally tracks down Hunt.
Tackling is so important for this Boise State defense. They brought a middle pressure, and there's Thompson, the playmaker we just talked about, taking a poor angle and missing a tackle, and that tackle right there that he missed cost them 53 yards and a 1st down.
The explosive play starting to roll for Utah State. The last couple of weeks against Colorado State and Fresno State, who have been struggling. Myers pulls it on 1st and 10. Dragged down Kamale Correa gets the tackle for loss.
Correa is just a tremendous playmaker. The coaches really talked about his ability and the way he's practicing better. He's taking it a little bit more seriously. Really good rushing the passer, but the element of his game that I've been impressed with is the way that he plays the run. He did an excellent job on that last play.
Had a sack last week, his third. They're leading the conference with 12 of them last year.
Got to know where number 8's on the field. He's somebody that can affect the game.
Myers on second down. Design run, bootleg. Myers, first down to the 11 for Ken Myers. James finally makes the stop. 17 more yards for Myers.
Boise State's going to bring some pressure off this outside edge, but what that does is it creates a gap in space that Myers is able to take advantage of, and then it's just those legs that we talked about in the open. He's an effective playmaker on the ground with his legs, and he made the Broncos pay big time that last run.
Mays in the backfield with Myers. Mays is going to take it inside the 10, inside the 5. The junior from Livingston, Texas, Devontae Mays.
Nice physical run there, and it looks like Boise State's a little stunned. After a big play, you want to get up to the line of scrimmage and run another play to catch that defense slipping a little bit. That's setting the tone inside there. This is a very important area of the field for this Aggie offense.
Boise State has been solid in the red zone. Their defense has been solid overall.
They were awesome a week ago, 5 for 5, all touchdowns.
Mays stretching near the first down inside the 1. Miles finally makes the stop. They're not going to give him a first down, so third down and very short inside the 2.
Yeah, now they're going to bring some big bodies in there. Ricky Ali Afua, Siwa Taufa, some D linemen in the backfield. Look for a lead play. Isolation, just beef on beef up front.
Myers hands off. Mays short of the goal line. Does he have the first down?
Looked like he got tripped.
He did not.
David Moala, number 51, had a great block right there, but you see his feet just hit Kent Myers, the quarterback. That's simple execution. Brings up a big decision here for the Aggies. I think they should go for it. They've got to get this into the end zone. But remember, they can pick up a first down, but I think they're going to talk about it.
The ruling on the field that the ball carrier was short of the line to gain is under further review.
So our replay booth, led by Thomas Robinson, wants to take a look at that one. And again, in college football, it is up to the sole discretion of the replay official. So he's looking at the same thing we're looking at here. Devontae Mays. Where is he down?
Hard to see kind of from that angle.
The line is just outside the 1.
His knee does not touch before he launches and elongates and straightens. So it's going to be wherever he touches after he takes that step right there, the next body part. It's not the bottom of his foot or the bottom of his hand, his elbow. But it's hard to see. You see his right elbow touches, the one that's carrying the football. It touches, but from that angle, you can't tell where that yard line is.
Replay officials tell us all the line. They look for a clear picture. Not a whole lot clear because of the number of bodies.
It's looking like it's somewhere in there.
Which would be just short of that line to gain for the first down, which is where the Reggie Smith's crew marked it on the field.
This is only the 9th trip that Boise State has allowed an opponent all season long to get down here inside the 20. And I said that the Aggies have to get inside the end zone. By that, I mean they need a touchdown here. Of course they can get a first down.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's 4th down.
4th down. So Utah State, prior to the review, had the offense on the field going forward on 4th down. And that's exactly what Matt Wells is looking at here.
It's interesting. You've had a great drive. You'd love to capitalize on it early and get some momentum. If you go for it on 4th down and don't get it, that can energize a Boise team on the road, and I don't know if that's a smart thing to do.
Moala, Tofa, Mays all in the backfield. 4th and 1 behind Myers. Play fake, toss, touchdown, Utah State. On 4th and 1, Wyatt Houston hauls it in. 4th and 1, play action from the 2-yard line results in the touchdown, the first of Wyatt Houston's junior year.
The Aggies taking a play out of the Boise State playbook with that play action deep down inside in the red zone. And true to form, they are 6 for 6 for touchdowns on their last 6 possessions going back to last week.
7-0 lead for Utah State. It was nearly another 3 and out before Hunt breaks the big one. Followed up by Myers setting up the Aggies inside the 10. And play action for an Aggie TD. A field goal for Boise State on the opening drive, and then Utah State responds with a 9-play, 71-yard touchdown. Ends up with 4th and 1 from the 2-yard line. Wyatt Houston touchdown.
Well, this is what their defense is looking at, those big bodies and defensive linemen. They're going to respond to run, and what that allows is Wyatt Houston to be able to get outside and escape. I think that that's supposed to be number 4 Darian Thompson's guy in man-to-man coverage, but because he lacked good eye discipline and was peeking in the backfield, it allowed Houston to go wide open for the easy touchdown.
That was so close to a 3 and out for Utah State. You pointed out when Thompson missed the tackle, opened up the door for the big play for the Aggies.
He's been such a playmaker for him for a lot of years, but he hadn't started out so well early in this ball game.
Touchback, Broncos will have it at the 25. We finally look at the Utah State defensive starters.
Well, when you look at Utah State, Boise State likes to run the ball, so the best chance that this Utah State defense has to win its matchup is if nose guard David Moala and the rest of that Aggie front 7 can control the line of scrimmage, which should be quite a bit easier with McNichols out tonight.
Moala was in there for that goal line on offense as well.
It's a Swiss Army knife.
The senior from Inglewood, California, nose guard. Empty backfield, 1st and 10. Rippin, screen, Williams Rhodes slips away from the first man, but the Aggies rally to the football. Moala right in there in the mix with Kyler Fackrell.
Been really impressed, Carter, with how well both of these teams tackle. When you flip the film on and you see a lot of these guys run into the football, good things happen. That's also when you can cause turnovers. Great effort by both of these defenses tonight could be the difference in this game.
One thing that everyone talks about around football, lack of tackling. Both these teams do it well. Ripping off play action. Here's the deep shot downfield. Knocked away. Anderson almost got it on the rebound. Intended for Chaz Anderson. Jalen Davis, step for step.
Jalen Davis in tight coverage. What I liked what he did is he was in tight press man coverage, which put him in a position to be able to mirror. Now, I'll tell you this, they could have called pass interference with his right hand. He was all over Chaz Anderson before that football got there, but you got to give him credit for being aggressive, but he got away with one there.
-2 yards for Boise State so far. 5 plays, all passes for the Broncos, and now they're in 3rd and long again.
Watch a screen or a draw here. Interesting to see what the Aggies do. Do they come after it or sit back?
Just do get the snap off on 3rd and long. Incomplete, intended for Kelsey Young. The Aggies get a 3 and out. On the second Boise State drive, Nick Vigil gets the pressure.
With Chucky Keaton under center as the quarterback, this Aggie offense has gotten a lot of the credit for how well Utah State has done over the year, but we're seeing it again tonight. The true strength of this team has been, and is certainly tonight early on in this game, been that defense that's been very well coached by defensive coordinator Kevin Clune.
Rippin has been solid in his first 2 road starts. The Boise State offense off to a slow start. Short punt, Sharp grabs it, fair catch at the 40. Aggies a touchdown drive last time they had it, 7-3.
into Maverick Stadium. The Aggies have a 7-3 lead. And these two head coaches have a lot in common. They're both coaching at the alma maters. They're both two of the youngest coaches in college football right now, and they have a link to former quarterback Adam Kennedy. Kennedy was the player here at Utah State in 2011 under then quarterback coach Matt Wells. A year later, Chucky Keaton emerged, and with 1 year left of eligibility, Kennedy wanted to transfer. Wells called Brian Harsin at Arkansas State and said, "I might have a quarterback for you." In 2013, Kennedy transferred to Arkansas State, leading them to a great record and a bowl win, which upped Harsin's resume and helped him get hired at Boise State. Guys, I think Harsin owes Wells a thank you here.
Yeah, I think you know, kind of got that impression from Matt. Hey, but yeah, as you said, both very good friends, and they kind of came up as coordinators, quarterbacks, coordinators, and now head coaches. As Tanner Vallejo makes a nice stop on Lawan Hunt.
Been very impressed with Tanner Vallejo. He was a key player in the Fiesta Bowl against Arizona last year and led the team in tackles as a nickelback. They moved him inside, so his production hasn't quite been this year what it was a year ago, but he's still a playmaker all over the field and leads his defense, in my opinion.
The Bronco defense had given up only 7 touchdowns all year until the last drive for Utah State. Myers takes off and gets to the 44.
And they had only given up 3 red zone touchdowns all season, which is amazing. But Utah State, to their credit, with some good blocking up front and some very creative play calling, found a way to make it 4.
Third down is when they broke the big one last possession with Lawan Hunt.
And this is a 3rd and manageable. It's a 3rd and medium. This is what you want to be able to do, is win on early downs, because you want as many options as you can have here on 3rd down.
Myers, the sophomore quarterback, on 3rd and 6. Good pocket, delivers. First down for Utah State. That's Brandon Swindle with just his 3rd catch of the year for 17 yards.
Brandon Swindle's one of those players they want to see step up. He hasn't been very productive this year, but what you're going to notice is a ton of time. They only rush 3. They drop 8 in the coverage, but Swindle does a good job of finding an open hole in that zone defense for the big first down.
Dante Dion and Darian Thompson finally make the stop. Another big gain on 3rd down for the Aggies. Play fake. Myers pressured this time. Correa pressures him, and he's dropped at the 40 by Chancellor James, the nickel. James will get credit for the sack.
We talked about Kamale Correa and his ability to be able to come off that outside edge. He's just a playmaker right here. He times the snap pretty good and gets a good jump off. The tackle misses a little bit with his punch because Correa knocks his hands down. And then it's just the rest of that defense folding back in to get the sack. Tackle play for Aggies this year has been up and down.
Myers misfires on 2nd down, so here's 3rd and long again for the Aggies.
These were the situations that the Aggies wanted to avoid, Carter, 3rd and long, because when you look at this Broncos defense, they've got 15 sacks on the year. They are now 16 because of that last one that they just got. If you're the Aggies, you may want to think about going with something safe or a high percentage pass here, because we talked about those 2 guys, man. Darian Thompson and Dante Dion are ball hawks. They can't afford to turn the football over here on 3rd down trying to pick up a first.
Sharp in the backfield. He's going to take it. Sharp gets to the 34, and Josh Heupel and Matt Wells took your advice here.
Well, I think it's a smart play call. You've had some momentum. Your defense is playing outstanding. You don't have to be aggressive and push the ball down the field because of it.
And the kicker, Jake Thompson, comes on. Now, Thompson kicks the long ones. He's only a 2 for 8 career field goal kicker, but he attempts the long ones, including this from 51. Only kick this year was a 48-yarder good versus Colorado State. The junior from Logan, Jake Thompson, from 51. And it is good from 51 for Jake Thompson. A 10-3 lead for Utah State. Nielsen with plenty of leg from 51. And the once impenetrable Boise State defense has given up 10 points on the last 2 Aggie drives. A 10-3 start for Utah State on Boise State. October officially Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We here at CBS Sports Network honored to be a part of our first college football bowl game, the AutoNation Cure Bowl, presented by Florida Hospital, which benefits the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Mark your calendars, December 19, 7 p.m. on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Pink on the helmets of Utah State tonight. A lot of pink in the stands. Aaron and I have on our pink ties. Proud to support the cause, and we will be there in Orlando. With Jenny Dell and our crew for the Cure Bowl. Touchback for Boise State, and the Broncos have struggled early against this Aggie defense.
Yeah, well, they came out throwing the football, and the Aggies have been bringing some pressure. That was just a simple tunnel screen, a big stop on 3rd down, and then good aggressive pressure on the outside edges, playing some man-to-man coverage, breaks up a big throw down the field by Chaz Anderson. We talked about Kevin Clune, the defensive coordinator, doing a really nice job with this defense, being aggressive. I would fully and clearly expect and hope that Boise State tries to run the football here.
6 plays, all passes, only 1 play for positive yards for Boise State. And now first run of the game, Devin Demas.
And they got gashed. Utah State stemmed themselves out of the play. They stunted, which means right before the ball snap, everybody shoots to a gap. What happens is you get moving and you can move out and create some big holes, and that's exactly what Boise State did there.
2nd down, Demas dropped as soon as he touches it for another negative play. Jordan Nielsen, the senior, tackle for loss.
That defensive line is so well coached, Carter. One of the things I noticed was their hands. Watch the hands inside on the defensive linemen. They're moving a little bit, but they just get upfield, keep their shoulders square. There's nowhere for him to run. And I think this Boise State offense is already feeling the loss of Jeremy McNichols. That offensive line's got to do a better job, though. There's a penalty flag on the field as things are going awry all over the place.
Call from Reggie Smith.
There is no foul for an illegal substitution. First charge timeout, Boise State, 30 seconds.
Third down's really been a problem for Boise State this year. They're extremely good on defense on that side of the ball, but they're 92nd in the FBS on 3rd down, and on the road they're even worse, only 24%. This is going to be a big down for these guys to be able to convert this and keep them chains moving.
And 0 for 2 tonight for Boise State. So you can't put this all on the lack of Jeremy McNichols in the lineup. Game time decision for the sophomore running back, do everything player for Boise State. Most touchdowns of anybody in the country. McNichols unable to go tonight after a goal line collision a week ago against Colorado State. But you have to factor that in for the Broncos and the lack of offensive production so far.
Yeah, and penetration causes lost yardage plays just like it did on that first run that we saw from Young and Demas.
Ripping from the shotgun. Pressured and sacked. Loses the football. It's loose and scooped by Utah State. Inside the 15. The freshman Rippin sacked, fumbled, recovered by the Aggies on a huge defensive play from Utah State. Aliafua recovers it.
Keep your eye right here. He's going to spy the quarterback. When pressure comes, he's going to hang back. He's going to come on that other side. Then they green dog it. When there's pressure, they pin their ears back and they come after it, perfectly bottling up Brett Rippin, the true freshman quarterback that coughs the ball up with a costly turnover deep down in the red zone here in the first quarter.
Credit Aliafua with the sack, and then Kyler Fackrell gets the fumble recovery. So 1st and 10 for Utah State, just outside the 10-yard line.
Carter, remember, a year ago. Boise State on the road, a lot of things going right against the Air Force Academy. 5 turnovers was the difference in that game. They got to do a much better job of protecting that football. And if you're Utah State, you have to think about scoring a touchdown here to stick the dagger in this team, take all the wind out of their sails, which means that this Bronco defense has to find a way to stand up and force a field goal here.
The ruling on the field that the quarterback was not down by rule prior to fumbling the ball is under further review.
So we'll take a look to see if Rippon was down with possession of the football.
Carter, it looks like he goes down on top of a defender, and that's when the ball pops out. Nothing touches there. The elbow, no, that ball is out. He falls on top of Aliafua. Aliafua's body keeps him off the ground, and before his left elbow hits, that ball is starting to come out. The officials were all over that one. This play is going to stand.
I think probably without much question.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down.
Well, Brett Rippon has been spectacular so far for Boise State, including the 2 road starts. But there's always a question. I mean, even as great as he has been, he's a true freshman. He's 18 years old, and this is a stepped-up road environment.
And this is going to be the biggest test. Remember, the second half of that game a week ago against Colorado State was his worst half of football. He was 6 for 11 for 94 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception.
First down just outside the 10. Mays driven back by Ben Weaver, the weak side linebacker, leading the way. Taimatuia in there as well.
Utah State's going to want to slow this down a little bit. They're thinking touchdown the whole way. Their defense is stepping up and giving them some opportunities. I think early on in this game, field position has been the significant difference, but they've got to find a way to capitalize on this. Use Myers' legs to do it.
Timeout, Utah State.
Utah State calls their first timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
So timeout for Matt Wells prior to second down, just outside the 11. Boise State defense had given up 3 red zone touchdowns all year and a chance for potentially back-to-back. Well, covering everything from the field through fantasy. Tops, that other pregame show. Fresh spin on your morning pregame show. Our team of experts, led by Adam Shine. Sunday morning, 9 Eastern, for that other pregame show presented by DraftKings, right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell. Not going to say that you called exactly what's happened in this game, but you had a sense that the Aggies were really ready for this game, this environment against Boise State.
My spidey sense was definitely tingling, and the reason why is because when you play good defense and you have a true freshman quarterback that is going to be faced against him, and you're down your star running back, that's a very adverse set of circumstances. I'm not surprised by this at all.
Now can the Aggies capitalize? Mays takes it to the 10, so it's still going to be 3rd down and long for Utah State. Once again, the first down marker is at the 1. Not sure if you've ever seen back-to-back, or 2 out of 3 drives anyway, where the first down marker was at the 1.
And with the way Myers has the ability to make plays with his legs, I think you give him a run-pass option here where he can tuck it and go, try to get him outside the pocket on a naked or a bootleg. But under no circumstances should he put this football in harm's way.
Myers, the sophomore quarterback, on 3rd and 9 to the end zone. Touchdown, Hunter Sharp. The Aggie offense making a statement against the vaunted Boise State defense. The Aggies playing Boise State's game now. A takeaway from the defense, a short field for the offense, and a touchdown to show for it.
What allowed that to happen was the fact that Boise State only rushed 3 defenders. They dropped 8 into coverage once again, and Dante Dion in soft coverage allowed his receiver to get inside for the easy touchdown.
Kent Myers had 2 touchdown passes in his sophomore season. He has 2 in the first quarter.
Look at all this space between here, and they're only going to rush these 3 guys. He's going to bail out. So Myers has a ton of time to be able to throw this football. And there's our playmaker, Hunter Sharp, putting his foot in the ground, and just too soft a coverage and too much time allows the Aggies to go up big here in the first quarter.
Big matchup there with Sharp against Dante Dion. Clearly won by Sharp on that one.
And Dion had inside leverage that time, meaning he was lined up on the inside half of Hunter Sharp's body because he didn't want him to go inside. Boise State's just not being aggressive enough on the defensive side of the ball, Carter. I think they need to pin their ears back and start bringing some pressure because Myers has had too much time, and when he has, he's made him pay.
Boise State fans unhappy with this result. Remember, there was the huge punt return. It was a 3-and-out for Utah State. The big punt return for Shane Williams-Rhodes. The Aggies held them to a field goal, and since then Utah State has taken command. 17-3, less than a minute to go in the first. Jake Thompson's kickoff. Off the back of the end zone, off the hands of Johnson. So Brett Rippon, the true freshman from Spokane, Washington, who had been sparkling, almost inflappable, and his first 3 games as Boise State quarterback, 3 for 6, but minus 2 yards, and then he lost the fumble on the sack.
You see him there. He doesn't have that glossed over look in his eye. He seems confident still. We're going to learn a lot about Rippon's competitive toughness here. How does he respond immediately after a turnover? Does he wilt or does he rise to the occasion? We're about to find out.
Rippon and the Broncos from the 25. It's Kelsey Young trying to find the edge, and he is wrapped up for a loss. Filiongo, the inside linebacker, drags him down.
There's Kyler Fackrell holding the edge. He'll play in space, but also be on the end line of scrimmage. He keeps good leverage there, extends the defender, and then disengages him and makes the tackle. Now remember, one of the strengths of Jeremy McNichols was his ability to bounce to the outside. There again was another play where his quickness could have been used.
Minus 19 yards of offense and another fumble by Rippon. A fight at the bottom of the pile. The Aggies think they have it. Vigil knocks it free. Utah State football. Back-to-back fumbles by Brett Rippon.
Utah State so good at disguising their exotic blitzes. They really make it hard for the offensive line to identify where the defenders are coming from. This is just a blown protection by the offensive line up front, and Vigil's able to come off that outside edge. Odiambo's going to follow this defensive end that comes here, and there's just going to be Vigil off that outside edge. They only rush 4, but they have 6 people. You see Young step up to try to be able to pick him up, but again, you have to wonder if Jeremy McNichols is in there, does he pick that blitz up?
That's minus 7 on that play. Minus 26 yards of offense for Boise State. Back-to-back fumbles deep in their own territories. First 6 games, Boise State had lost 1 fumble. Back-to-back possessions, they lose it on sack fumbles.
And they do it in the worst part of the field that they could possibly do it, putting their defense in a very bad situation inside the 20-yard line once again.
I mean, this is exactly the script that led to Boise State being 5-1, was takeaways, short field for the offense, keep the pressure off your young quarterback.
They better dial some pressure up here. I think Utah State probably try to run here early, but on passing downs, Boise State better bring some heat.
Ken Myers, keeper. Takes a big pop after a 2-yard gain. Darian Thompson there to end the first quarter, dominated by the Utah State Aggies. 17-3 on Boise State. Utah State has flipped the script on 21st ranked Boise State, a dominating first quarter in Logan on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.